welcome back to WallStreet Bets portfolio. Now, if you do not know, WallStreet Bets portfolio is a portfolio run by WallStreet Bets. What happens is I run an algorithm that looks at the most talked about, most bullish that Wall Street stocks that WallStreet Bet has and that they're discussing, and then that is what we buy. If you'll notice, I am locked out of Robinhood. They want me to do two-factor. I don't have two-factor set up, so don't know what I'm supposed to do. Their support has been a little overwhelmed, so they are not getting back to me. But the story of the portfolio this week has been GameStop, which is down today, but this week has done absolutely fantastic, up from $42, up 300 some percent. And it has raised our portfolio value to $167, up $54 or 47%. Most of that has been from GameStop, some from BlackBerry, but mostly from GameStop. GameStop has raised about 1,000% since we first bought it, up to $205 as of this taping, with a market value of $57. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about, we'll be talking today about GameStop, the long-term bullish versus long-term bearish case, not in the short term. In the short term, it's anyone's guess as to what's going to happen. I am also going to be moving away from Robinhood just because of their handling of this GameStop situation. I am ditching the Robinhood account and I'll be moving to Fidelity, I believe. That will probably happen by next video. Hopefully we won't have to be back at Robinhood or ever be locked out again. Anyway, hope you enjoy the video. Hello, so today I wanted to talk about GameStop, and if you haven't followed GameStop, GameStop has been just on a tear recently. Back in August it was worth only $5, now it's worth $76, and in fact it got up as high as $155, I believe, as today when I was recording this video. And I'm not going to talk today about why it got that high. If you're watching this channel, you probably already know it had a lot of interesting factors. WallStreet Bets actually had a lot to do with it, pretty much mostly to do with it skyrocketing. But I wanted to talk about the long-term implication of not only this stock rise, but of this stock rise on GameStop's potential. And I wanted to give you the bull and the bear case. I'm kind of torn as to what this stock is going to do in the future. But anyway, I wanted to dive into what I think it could be in the best case scenario and what it could be in the worst case scenario. So first, we're going to cover the GameStop bear case, which has been the case that has been going on for a long time. First, I want to just take a look at the revenues over time. As you can see, GameStop started out pretty good with their revenues increasing steadily, higher and higher each year, and then they sort of plateaued, and then they started a decline. They really recently started a decline around the 2019-ish era, and kind of even before that, around the 2017-ish era. And that really comes from a lot of things. It comes from both video games going very digital and video games also becoming something where they're more based on people paying over and over for things inside of the video game rather than the first initial purchase of the video game. For example, things like Fortnite, which you don't actually pay for, but you buy skins and stuff inside, and GameStop has a lot of trouble selling those because, well, it's a lot easier to buy them, and there's no reason to drive all the way out to GameStop to buy something that you can buy sitting on your couch. So I want to kind of compare this chart here and what GameStop has been doing to something like Blockbuster, a company we all know that famously went bankrupt, and you can see a similar thing. They peaked at some point, slowly started to go down, then a little bit more rapidly, and then this is like where we are with GameStop if we're using this bear case, and then they just plummeted into the ground. And as you can see, in this case, it's compared against Netflix, which it doesn't really apply for GameStop because, well, GameStop doesn't really have a direct competitor that is taking all of their business like Blockbuster did. Instead, GameStop has a multitude of different factors and competitors that are really hurting their business model. So that is the bear case for GameStop. The bear case is that, well, the digital sort of game revolution just continues. GameStop plummets into the ground. They don't change. They go like Blockbuster. They're basically just a Blockbuster, but for video games, you know? All they do is they hold the discs and then you buy them, and they're not that different from Blockbuster, really. And that's the bear case. But I think more interesting is the bull case. So taking a look at this chart, this is where the bull case actually comes from. So GameStop's bull case all really comes from this share price increase. Now, what can GameStop actually do with the share price increase? Well, they can do two things. They can issue new shares, or they can sell some of the shares they already have. Both of these will lead to having more capital. And what they can do with that capital is do some investments, and they can also pay off some of their debt. GameStop has a substantial amount of debt, $485 million. But with this significant share price increase, they can also do a great job paying down this debt. Now, they managed to pay down a significant portion back in 2019, but I think they could get this substantially way down. Now, paying down debt is great, but if they can't increase revenue and revenue goes to zero, well, that doesn't matter at all then. If you pay down your debt, you have no debt, that's great, but if you don't have any revenue, then you're just going to get into debt again. So what is their case for getting out of debt? Well, let's look at a company that people thought was on a similar track as them, Best Buy. Best Buy had a pretty rough situation where the revenue was declining, but all of a sudden it started to pick back up, and this year, actually this quarter, Best Buy did pretty well with a 21% increase year over year. Now, how did they do that? What did they do to make it so that they could achieve this growth? Well, Best Buy did a few things. They invested in their stores, making them really nice. People really wanted to come there. But the people who were against them also misunderstood the point of Best Buy. Best Buy was really a large electronics retailer. It's not where you go to get your HDMI cord anymore. It's where you go to get your TV. You don't really necessarily want to buy your TV on Amazon. It's kind of stressful to have it shipped. They're far away. They use it as sort of a distribution center. Now, this is also kind of what Walmart did. So what can this mean for GameStop? How can GameStop's revenue, instead of looking like a straight downwards line, look like this? Well, they need new ideas. They need to change up their business model. They need a smart person in the driver's seat, and they need to come up with a way to make it so their stores are an asset to them, much like Best Buy and Walmart and Target have managed to do, and not a liability like they currently are in the digital gaming space, where people just want to download games or buy them on Amazon and they get there in 2 days. So where does this come from? Do they have this guy? Well, that is where Ryan Cohen comes in, and you can't talk about GameStop without talking about Ryan Cohen. Now, he took a very large stake, about $76 million in GameStop, and has added, I think, 2 people to the video game retailer's board, as well as himself, and he's already had tremendous success in the internet space with his company Chewy. And so I think this is a really good matchup, and this really suits the bullish case as well. So what is GameStop's bullish case? Well, GameStop's bullish case is that they can use this extreme spike in their share price to pay off some of their debt, and to give to Ryan Cohen to help turn their business into more of an online focused digital space, or at least to turn their stores into more of an asset than a liability. And their bearish case, of course, is that they can't figure out how to do this, that their revenue keeps declining and they eventually go out of business like Blockbuster. Thanks for watching. Make sure to check back in next week to WallStreet Bets portfolio, see what stock we buy, see what interesting topic we talk about, and see if GameStop hits $1 billion a share.